Hi everyone, welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Joined by James from the Babylon Blues today for another pre-match live stream. Just one of these dead rubber games, isn't it, James? Just like another one. It's pretty forgettable. Now, Merseyside Derby at Anfield, it's never a nice occasion. We're going to get the team news in about 5 minutes, get a few viewers in as well. And we'll talk about the team news, but James, we were talking about it a bit off camera. How do you feel about this one? How do you feel about this one today?
It was funny. We were both saying that we weren't that bothered about, or not that nervous about it until nerves started kicking in about 15 minutes ago for me now, 20 minutes ago, and now I'm borderline shaking. It's just horrible. Just my least favourite day of the footballing calendar by far is the game at Anfield. The Merseyside Derby at Goodison is probably next up. But the one at Anfield's it's just horrible. It's just 90 minutes of torture, and it feels a lot longer than that as well. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, but it'll be over. It'll be over soon. So
yeah, it's a bit disheartening a bit when you're it'll be over soon. It feels like I said to James off camera. It feels a bit like when you were a kid and you go to the dentist. You go to the dentist every year, and it'd be the one day you'd be like, oh no, I don't want to go, and it'd be the nerves or whatever. It's horrible, and the only saving grace is that there's no fans in the ground, and we can be a bit more optimistic. Hopefully, team news is out in 4 minutes, so that optimism will either go up or down depending on what that is. Me and James will get our reaction to it. But thanks if you've joined the stream already. Leave a like on the video and share it around, and we'll get some conversations going. We'll be live right until the game starts. So. We're going to try and be as optimistic as we can because, we're not bad by any means. I don't think we're a bad team, but it's our record at Anfield is pretty shocking. And we've just got to hope that, to be honest, James, what is there really to lose? We're not, it's just a game we need to go into with just like another game, and hopefully we'll snatch a result because we just need to look at it like any other game, in my opinion, and hope that we can snatch something. I think. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. But it was last night, so I wasn't really thinking about it. And then I was playing a bit of PlayStation with a few of the boys, and then they all went off other than one. And the other one who supports Everton, and he sort of said to me, just imagine if we win tomorrow. And I was like, you can't say that because I've said it all the time. But then I'm also thinking I take your hand off for a draw now, but then I also really want us to win it at some point. We've got to go there and win one day. This can't go on forever. But I think that might just be the nerves sort of getting the better of us, saying we'll take a point now and just sort of go into the game and just hope we come out of it with something. But yeah, I'm absolutely desperate for us to go and win it. And I say we're not a bad team whatsoever. We've had a couple of poor games, a couple of poor results, but if we could maybe hark back to some of the form earlier on in the season, then that could be key. But look, these aren't unbeatable home or away. They haven't got the sort of best 11 out by far. So we just got to go and hope and just give it our all. Because I say it can't go on forever. We've got to win it one day. And why can't it be today? Maybe the team news will tell us why it can't be today.
Yeah, I really just hope it. It would be amazing to win one, to be honest. And to be honest, I don't understand how. I've got quite a few Liverpool supporters in my family, and I don't understand. They always tell me they're always really oh, I'm nervous for this one. I feel like this could beat us, and it's never the case. I don't understand how you could possibly be nervous. It's just, it's like being nervous for a heat wave if you live in Antarctica. Being a Liverpool fan, I don't see how. I'd love to know how they feel, because I guarantee it's a lot different how we feel. Also, guys, Everton are doing a Colombian watch along with our guy Alejandro. If you've seen any of Alejandro's videos on the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, he's representing Everton over on their official watch along. So that's really exciting for him, and make sure you go support him. And we'll read a few comments before the team news comes out. So Stephen Thomas says 2-1 Everton. Really hope so, Stephen. Philip Mason says, hey guys, this sucks. And he says, I can't lie, I have a bad feeling here. just got to try and be optimistic. That's the only thing. But you know what? It's another game. We went away to United and we drew with them. Put in a good performance in the second half, and tough games we've been played this season, and we've done well in them. Neil Lucas says 3-1 to Everton. KB is very optimistic. He says he can't wait for the derby and it's going to be awesome. Albie says up the Toffees. Karen Hardy says come on you Blues. Phil Cornwall Blue, thank you for coming and joining the stream again, mate. Up the Toffees 2-1. This is the day it ends. Hope so. Bob Smith says odds on flying Pickford 2-footer to snap Salah. I hope that Pickford doesn't play. I'm in the Olsen camp today. I hope he starts because after his recent performances against Liverpool, I'm hoping that it's not him in the team.
Unfortunately, I can tell you now. It is.
Yeah. So here is the team news. Pickford is in goal. Coleman. Oh no! Do you know what? Mate?
At least Sigurdsson's not playing. That's something.
Yeah. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. Basically Pickford starting, Coleman starting, which doesn't fill me with too much confidence either because he's not been great in the last few games. But James, I can see you've got it up there. Your impressions on that, just while I get it up on the screen for the viewers.
Well, no Calvert-Lewin, no Alan. It looks like probably Dean playing left side of midfield again. It's so frustrating because I know on this occasion they've not got their full strength, as I touched on a minute ago. But when are we ever going to have a full strength team for a derby? Like, I remember a few years ago when we just signed Schneiderlin and he was unbelievable for 6 weeks and then he didn't play. And it was like one of the only games we lost in the second half of that season after he came in because he was so good for us. And again, we just haven't got the full strength team out. We've got Gomez and Decore Davis in the middle, which I'm not a big Gomez fan, I have to say. And then it looks like James and Richarlison up front with maybe Dean. I mean, this is the thing. They don't even know what formation we're playing. There's no continuity. We're making 3-4 changes every week. It's just so frustrating. But maybe this is the team that's going to finally do it. Who knows?
Oh, I hope so, mate. If you haven't seen it yet, it's Pickford, Coleman, Godfrey, Holgate, Keane, Luca Dean, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Andre Gomez, Tom Davis, James Rodriguez, and Richarlison. So that's the team. It should be going across the bottom of your screen now. I'm not hopeful with Seamus Coleman in there dealing with their front three. He's been pretty dire in the last few games he's played, and I was hoping that he wouldn't play again and Holgate would just play there, even if Holgate hasn't been playing too well. Karen Hardy says car crash. Pickford's in. Hope he keeps his head this time. Do you know what, Karen? I don't have 100% faith. The only thing that is sort of, an upside to that is Allen's on the bench. It will be Bernard King, Calvert-Lewin's on the bench. Sigurdsson's not playing. That's probably, their positives. Rodriguez and Richarlison are starting together. I don't know why Allen's not playing, to be honest, because he's been on the bench for the last few games. Surely he's got to be fit by now. He's been training. So if you're going to throw him in a game, it's got to be this one, James, surely.
Yeah, I thought he was going to play as well, based on what he said yesterday. But yeah, it's a big shame because I think if we'd hadn't had that City game midweek, like obviously we weren't supposed to, and then if we'd dealt with Fulham the way we should have done, he could have come on for 20 minutes against Fulham and just had a bit of a run around because he's not played for 2 and a bit months. So yeah, it's just so frustrating, as I say, just never having that 100% starting 11 against these. I can't remember the last time we were able to call upon such a thing. So yeah, I'm disappointed Alan's not playing, disappointed Calvert-Lewin's not playing, but it is what it is, isn't it? We can't change it, so.
I'll read out Liverpool's team for you. Alisson is starting in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Ozan Kabak, Henderson and Robertson are the back four, Gini Wijnaldum, Curtis Jones, Thiago Alcantara, and then the front three, Mane, Salah and Firmino. So it's pretty much full strength for what they've got, Liverpool. Obviously, there's no Van Dijk. But yeah, apart from Kabak, that's pretty much, I think they're full, apart from obviously Henderson as well, starting at centre-back. So them two centre-backs are going to be where we're going to have to expose them. It's just you'd like Calvert-Lewin in there because with them two centre-backs, you'd fancy him to rise above the both of them and put the ball in the net. But do you know what, guys? It's not the be-all and end-all. Let's be positive. Let's try and just, you know what I mean? Let's bring our expectations down. This isn't the only game for the rest of the season. This is just another game. This is another league game. It's 3 points, and we just have to try and get them. Just obviously our form going away to Anfield isn't great, but any day can be the day. It's a really strange season, and then all sorts of teams are beating all sorts of teams. So let's just try and do it. James, I asked Paul on our preview video about some of his favourite memories from the derby. I'll ask you as well because we're going to try and keep it positive as we can, with no DCL and no Allen starting. But yeah, if you got a favourite derby memory?
Well, Jagiel, because at the Cop end, obviously for the goal and for the minute of the game and stuff, but also because until full time I thought it was James McCarthy who scored, because it was just crazy when that went in. I couldn't believe it. So that's up there. I remember obviously the Andy Johnson derby. That was great. I was quite young then, but that's one of my first derby moments. Lee Carsey derby as well, obviously. I'd probably say my favourite though was the one when the last one we won, when Kale and Arteta scored, because it was like two of my childhood heroes scoring the goals. We were like significantly better than them at that period of the season, and we just battered them. So I'd say that one and the Andy Johnson derby and the Dan Gosling one as well. Actually, there have been some good memories, but they're obviously drowned out by some not so good memories.
Pretty dire performances over the years. Yeah, Philip says his favourite's got to be Andy King. A bit before mine and James's time, but they're all the same. Any win against Liverpool is a win against Liverpool. Yeah, people just basically say we need to keep positive. That's it. Liverpool have lost home games before this season with that team. It's not like we're going into it and they're still on that massive run they were on. And they've lost games, home to Brighton, and I think there was another team, I can't remember who it was, but
Burnley, it was.
They've lost. Who? Sorry,
Burnley,
yeah. So they've lost 2 home games at home with that team. I think pretty much the same team at home. So it's not. It's not impossible. We've seen it. It's just that Liverpool do like to raise the games for these ones, and that front three is quite lethal. Philip Mason says he's showing his age with that. Yeah, I think that was the 70s, maybe late 70s, maybe early 80s. Sorry,
it was.
And or I'm not too sure when it was.
I thought
just know the goal really well and the commentary as well. Some of the best commentary I've heard. That amazing. And that old commentary, by the way, guys, the old commentary tops the new one so much. Like if you listen back to some old football, commentators have really took a dive since the glory days of Everton. When it'd be proper commentary and it wouldn't be any sort of. It's just basically fake news now. The commentators just chatting to themselves. Philip Mason said it was 1976, so yeah, quite a while ago. But yeah, good that you've bringing in some golden memories for us, Philip. That's really helping us. But yeah, we just need to stay. We need to stay as calm as we can, as positive as we can. We've won a lot of away games this season. No reason we can't do it. Inky Squid says, I swear that Martin Tyler sounds like a vicar. So bland and boring. I'm glad I'm not the only person, mate, because it seems to get out for the big game. For me.
I think Stephen's just reloading in there.
New James?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're back now, guys. Sorry about that. We went away for a second. Well, yeah, Philip Mason's corrected himself there. It was 78 with Andy King. Freeze, yeah. That Fulham game, they were loving commentating on that. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like they just put you down while you're trying to enjoy it. I've stopped listening to it, to be honest, the commentary. I think me and James were talking about it. I've recently, with the recent games, I've just been putting my headphones in and watching the game with no sound on because it's helping me nerves a little bit, and I'll be doing that again today. Leo, they are fit, so why bench them? Up the Toffee still, it's a lineup that can cause problems. There is some good players in there. Coleman's, Godfrey starting. It looks like a back five. I'm guessing, or maybe something like that with Coleman starting as well. Because usually, if it was a back four, there'd be no Seamus Coleman and Mason Holgate to be at right back, but it looks today that it's going to be something like also Coleman and Dean. So 2 fullbacks tells me that there's not going to be too much defending for Coleman to do, and maybe if he's left to just try and get some crosses in the box, he might do well. You can hear me again now?
Yeah, I can, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Don't know where we went. It's just an issue. But yeah, we're talking about Coleman there. Just worries me lately. Same as Joey 11 in the chat there. He has been. He doesn't look the same player he used to be. Always looks a yard off the pace as well. But hopefully the fact that we've got Holgate in there as well, and it's not just a back forward Coleman in, that puts a little bit more, makes me a little bit more confident. The fact that we have got 3 centre backs there with Dean and Coleman there. You can hear me now, James, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
keep cutting out a little bit.
Sorry. Sorry. Right, I'll try again. Seamus Coleman in what looks to be a back five is a bit more promising for me. The fact that Holgate's in there, Keane and Godfrey as well. Does that make you a bit more confident with Coleman? The fact that there is a back three of the centre backs and then two wing backs with Coleman and Dean.
Well, if that's what it is, then maybe. But we looked crap at the five back. The Fulham game was one, and the start against Burnley when we were awful the first half an hour. We played a five back, and I just think it's a bit of a specialist formation. You need to get the right players who can play, and I'm not 100% convinced we've got that. So if that's what it is, but then maybe, I'm not sure. But he does worry me though, Coleman, because as you say, he looked a yard off the pace. He's looked knackered every game he's played for the last, I don't know, 3 weeks or whatever. Games when he's come on, he's played right midfield against City and Spurs for a bit, and again he's just looked goosed after 10 minutes. So he does worry me a little bit. I had a little go at his captaincy actually this week on our podcast. I'm not 100% convinced he's cut out for that sort of business. The whole rallying cry after a bad defeat does worry me as well a little bit. So I just hope he can put in a performance that he was putting in sort of 5-6 years ago. But yeah, I think he is looking a yard off the pace. If it's to be a back five, then I think that could help him, but I'm not convinced the whole team will look quite so comfortable with that setup. But we'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree with you there, because surely the best option for club captain will be someone who's going to be playing every week. Someone like Luca Dean, but Coleman and as well, we're so used to those rallying cries, aren't we? The stupid ones that end up on the club website whenever we've lost a game or something bad's happened or something like that. It just gets really annoying, and it's always the same thing as well. I was earlier on today, I was saying I'll be pretty happy with the team as long as Coleman and Pickford aren't playing, and both of them are playing. So you got to just hope Ancelotti's got something up his sleeve. James Rodriguez starting up front with Richarlison, and Richarlison could do with a goal here. It would do a lot for his confidence to score in the derby, James.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think after the Spurs game, and obviously he scored twice, I thought this was Richarlison back a little bit, and then against Fulham, he cut a pretty forlorn figure up front because he was by himself and we weren't getting the ball over the halfway line. And then I felt against City, he did well in terms of trying to bully their centre backs. And I think if he hadn't got booked, he got a really silly booker in the first half. If that hadn't happened, I think we would have seen a lot more of that in the second half. But I think he just calmed it down a little bit. So if he can keep his emotions in check and just try and dominate their centre backs, because he's far better. He's a far better striker than Henderson is a centre back, and I'm sure he's far better than that Kabak fella is at centre half as well. So, if he can get a goal, because he scored in the last Anfield derby, didn't he? So, if he can get a goal, that would help his confidence a lot. But he needs to keep his emotions in check, I think, because the last derby obviously got sent off, and then things got pretty personal towards him, I feel. So, if he can keep his emotions in check, then absolutely.
Yeah, Adam P there says Trent is in such bad form as well. Someone needed to attack him. Well, hopefully Luca Dean's going to do that, and we'll be able to get some crosses in the box. But it'd just be nicer if Calvert-Lewin was starting to get on the end of them. Erwin Koeman, thanks for joining the stream again, mate. Will be a tough game tonight, but hopefully we can get a result. Yeah, we're trying to be as positive as we can, and we're trying to gear up the supporters that we've got in the stream, and hopefully it is another away win for Everton. Inky Squid says, at least Siggy isn't starting. Coleman always takes the brunt of everything except for Pickford. Feel kind of bad for him. Yeah. I mean, his performances haven't really been up to scratch, but yeah, I am glad Sigurdsson isn't starting either. He is on the bench though, so I'm just glad that if Paul was here, he'd give you a better appraisal of Gylfi Sigurdsson, because he's not his biggest fan. Same old Everton, thank you for joining the stream. He says, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, that 90 minutes is a weird one. Anything can happen in a derby, so let's just hope it's Everton's chance to win there. Joe Berbera says no Calvert-Lewin or Alan. Yeah, that's the main thing, isn't it, mate? That's why people are a bit upset on Twitter and stuff like that, is that there is no Calvert-Lewin and there is no Alan. But both on the bench. Let's hope that we can get them both on, and hopefully if we were still in the game at about 50, 60 minutes, both of them come on and we can really turn it around and there'll be some fresh legs. You've got to bear that in mind as well. That there is the chance that there could be tired Liverpool legs around 60 minutes. Alan will come on and he does like to drive forward with the ball. So what have you made of Alan so far at Everton, James? Because I've loved watching him play, and I think he's put in a couple of stellar performances. So yeah, what have you made of Alan? Because he'll get a lot of comparisons to Abdoulaye Doucouré, but obviously Doucouré's played a few more games than him. So, but what have you made of him so far?
I really liked him. Yeah, I liked him for a few years, to be fair, when he was in that really good Napoli team under Maurizio Sarri, when he was with Jorginho and Hamsik in the midfield. I thought he was great then. And they looked quite good under Carlo, but then he left and Gattuso didn't play him much back half of last season. So I think he came to Everton not the fittest he's ever been. I think it took him a few weeks to get fully up to speed. And then I think by the time that Leicester game rolled around, I thought he was playing really, really well. And he played really well for the first half hour of that game before he went off injured. Obviously got that bad muscle injury, so we've not seen him since. But I've been really impressed by him. I think he's a top midfielder in the Premier League. And I think as well, once fans are eventually allowed back in, he seems the kind of player who thrives off of that sort of animosity and support kind of thing. That's the kind of player he seems to me. So I've been really impressed by him, and if this wasn't a derby, I'd be more than happy than being on the bench because I don't want to get injured again. But with it being this game, I would have liked to see him in from the start type thing. But I think he's been really good for us, yeah.
It seems like the sort of game he'd thrive in as well, because he played really well when Napoli went there in the Champions League a couple of years ago. And he doesn't seem to be intimidated by, big games. So, that's what we signed him for, isn't it? That's why you sign big players. Christopher Manley says, glad to see Davis in the squad being playing. What have you made of Davis? Spoke to you. He was, I think he was just about to come into this really good patch of form he's having. But what have you made of him recently? Because he's been a lot better.
I think he's looked really good, and I think he's finally found his position where I hope he'll sort of strive. It's funny, actually, because I was saying, I think it was the Brighton game, he came in for Alan and he looked all right, but then he had to go to right back, didn't he? And I felt he put in a decent shift there. And I sort of compared him to Matty Cash, who, when he was at Forest, was a bit of a average central midfield player, but then he got moved to right back, and within a year he was moving to the Premier League for 15, 16 million to Aston Villa. So I thought Tom Davis could have done a bit of a job like that. But instead, he's sort of bided his time. And now I think in that sixth role, his energy, his tenacity, I think the ability he's got on the ball is best suited to that position. So I think he's been really good. And I gave him sort of man of the match against United. I thought he was the only player any credit against Fulham. I thought he looked good against City as well. So I've been really pleased with Tom Davis. And hopefully this is the sort of game where he can sort of thrive. Obviously, a local lad and what have you. I never felt Ross Barkley, for example, really took these games by the scruff of the neck. So I just hope Tom Davis can do his best to do that today. But I think he's been integral to the good things we've seen over the last 2-3 weeks or whatever. So I've been really impressed.
Yeah, I have been as well, because he's been showing that quick turn of pace that he used to, where he'd get the ball and he'd turn quickly and make a striving run towards goal, which we haven't seen from him in recent years. He went off the boil a bit, but last few games he's been playing really well. So I am happy he is playing today. So I do agree with the comment. Inky Squid says, I've got to go up the Toffees. Thank you for joining the stream, mate. Hopefully we'll see you afterwards. Hopefully it's a winning post-match stream. Malcolm Murphy says, devastated, thought Alan and DCL would start. So did I. I thought that both of those would be starting, with Alan being on the bench as well. But try and be as positive as we can. They could be good impact subs. Julian Becerra says, James scores today. I'd love him forever if he scored the winning goal today. It'd be absolutely massive. Played in derbies before, big game player. How do you think, how do you expect James Rodriguez to step up today?
Well, again, it's like the first derby where he was playing really well, and then he went away with Colombia, didn't he? And again, he just looked goosed after 25, 30 minutes in the first derby, and he ended up having to play the full 90 because of the subs we used and what have you. And by the end, he was really struggling, I thought. And then he's coming into this one after a bit of an injury. He was on the bench against City, came on, didn't really do anything the last 20 minutes. So it's a bit unfortunate, the timing once again. But yeah, I just hope we can get him on the ball, get him close to their goal. But there's no doubt in my mind there's going to be some meaty challenges flying in on him. I think Klopp, kind of almost in a sort of way alluded to that a bit yesterday or the day before, whenever he spoke. But I'm a little bit worried about that. But if we can get him on the ball, we've got a huge chance. We get him in dead ball situations, all that good stuff. So that's the hope for me. We can just get him in the game as much as possible, because if he becomes a peripheral figure, then he's going to offer us very little because he won't do much defensive work. So we need to get him on the ball as much as we can, I think.
Yeah, hopefully he gets a chance in the middle as well today, because I think he does play a little bit better in the middle. And he's shown already in his time at Everton and pop up with little moments of magic. We saw it at United, he scored a great goal there. And as well in the game against Leicester, he scored, I think, that goal got voted goal of the month as well. So we need one of them from him today. He's no stranger to a big game. James Rodriguez, this is what we signed him for. Let's hope he comes up good and he bags the winner for us today. Hello, I'm from Indonesia. Hi, thanks for tuning in to our stream all the way from Indonesia. Someone else from Brazil there. Thank you for joining the stream. Any more comments here? Jake Bow says, why is Calvert-Lewin not starting? I'm not sure, maybe. And I would thought, Ancelotti did say he was fit, James, in his press conference. But you think maybe he's planning on just using him as an impact sub, with half an hour left when there's tired legs on the pitch? Because saying it like that doesn't seem like a bad idea, really.
Yeah, it doesn't in principle, but it's one of them. It's like, that plan depends on us being within a goal. By the time the 60th minute rolls around, it's not a game plan which is, solid. It's built on the sands of whether we can still be in the game with half an hour to go. I'm disappointed he's not starting, but I think with Ancelotti, he probably just thinks, look, I know it's a derby, I know it's a big game, but at the end of the day, we've got 15, 16 games left in the Premier League season. We're in the quarterfinal of a cup. If we risk him today, we could lose him for even longer, and maybe he doesn't want to do that straight from the start, which is unfortunate again, as I say, but I think that's probably just his thought process. So I'm disappointed he's not starting as well, because we look like we lack a huge focal point up front, but we've won games this season without him before, so let's just hope we can go and do it again today in the big one.
Well, we did miss him in that Fulham game. We really needed the focal point to get out from the back, didn't we? Because Fulham's thought we could just, they could just keep pressing us, inside our own half, and we had no one to kick it to, and that seems to be our game plan when he's in the team. So it's important to remember what Calvert-Lewin offers, not just going forward. He does work very, very, very hard. He's a really hard-working player, and he is our outball, and part of our game is to defend and then try and get the ball up to Calvert-Lewin to hold it up for the wingers. But which, against a lot of pressure in really, really deep, and we're going to spend time without the ball, and getting pressed deep is, without Calvert-Lewin is a big problem. Liam Bolger there says thoughts on Siggy. Sorry, I forgot. Bob asked for a shout out. He's from Wigan. Yeah, you get a shout out as well. Just as important as Indonesia and Brazil, Bob. So yeah, you do get a shout out for being from Wigan. Liam Bolger says thoughts on Siggy being on the bench. James, what have you made of Gylfi Sigurdsson?
He's funny, Satan, isn't he? Because he did so well in that Spurs game in terms of he got a goal and 3 assists, but I thought he was pretty crap for most of the game. Like it's just mad. He feels like he can't do right for doing wrong. But I thought against City, he was all right in the first half, and I remember saying it, and it was like the kiss of death, because in the second half, it was awful. And I felt like the season before this one, he was awful last year. And then I think even in that season when he scored like 13 goals, I've said this for about a year now, but even in the one full season under Marcus Silva, when he scored loads of goals, it felt like if he didn't score, he didn't really do anything. And there were games where I remember Cardiff at home, for example. I remember he was completely anonymous for most of the game, but he popped up with a tap into still winning the game. And then it looks like he's been a lot better than maybe what he has. So now the goals have dried up. We've sort of seen that. But the thing that frustrates me the most about him, though, is when he gets moved into a deeper role, because he just can't do it. He's not got the legs. He's not got the tenacity, the determination. He's not a good tackler of the ball. I don't think he's the best reader of the game. I think his anticipation is really, really poor. He's a bit of a one-trick pony for me in terms of being able to play in that little pocket behind the striker where he can pick the ball up, he can pick a pass, and he can have a shot on goal. I think if he plays deeper, he's useless, to be honest. And I was sort of saying to my mates yesterday that it's strange with the positions that he's played, because he's sort of played in place of Allan and he's also sort of played in place of Calvert-Lewin. But if those two are back, then I'd like to think we won't see that much more of him in an Everton shirt, with the hope that we can move on in the summer. That's what I think. But they're my thoughts on him anyway. I don't think he's been a very good signing for us. And I just think this season, he scored a few goals, he got a few assists, sure, but I just think his overall play hasn't been up to scratch for a long time for me.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of and you mentioned it as well. It's a very niche thing for you to only be good in that pocket behind the strikers, being able to pick ball out. If that's the only thing you can do, how much money are you worth in today's market? Not very much, because it's not like he's absolutely fantastic at that either. You know, he obviously laid a really good ball on for Bernard, but in the game against Fulham, absolutely dreadful. Like, me and Paul talked about him for ages. One of the worst Everton performances I've seen in a long time. And obviously people will talk about him pointing and standing around and stuff like that. But yeah, he just seems to not offer much, and he pops up with the odd goal, and that keeps him on side with people like Sheffield United, or where we won that game 1-0 away at Bramall Lane, or you know, like he'll score a penalty or something like that. I'm glad he's on the bench and he's not starting, Liam, but then again, I'd probably be happier if we put someone else on the bench over him. Fernandez 18 there. I'm guessing that's a Man United fan. We've seen a few Man United in the stream already. Thank you for joining. You're welcome to stick up for the Toffees tonight as well if you're Man City and should have lost against United too. I won't be surprised if Everton come out of Anfield with a win. I hope so. It takes us level on points. Obviously, our record at Anfield's not been very good. From the outside looking in, Liverpool have not been great at home in the last few months, but this is Everton. This is, it's a different thing. Liverpool love to step up to derbies as much as they act like it doesn't matter to them. They absolutely love getting worked up for derbies. So. But we were speaking about it earlier, and we'll speak a little bit about them because they're the opponents today, like we do in every pre-match stream. James, they've looked at times sort of inept at defending this season, and obviously Van Dijk's been a big part of that. But the new signing Kabak as well from Schalke. What have you made of them recently? Because it has taken people by surprise that they fell away. Has it taken you by surprise?
Well, I just think like we can look at the injury to Van Dijk as much as we like, but the fact that he's injured isn't why Alisson threw two in his own net the other week against City. For example, I think him not playing has been a little bit overstated. I understand he's an unbelievable player, but if anything, I'm surprised at how long it's taken to sort of fall away, because they had quite a good record after the derby when, we supposedly ended their season. I think they won 6 of the next 7, and the game they drew was against City, I think. So and I'm surprised at how long it's taken them to sort of fall away. But at the end of the day, they played this heavy metal gegenpress football for, nearly 6 years, I think, 5.5, 6 years. Like, it's going to take its toll, and especially on these players, because he very rarely rests the fullbacks. He's got people from all over the gaff playing centre half. Your goalie's always going to make the odd mistake in the season. You're always going to get injuries. I felt like last season they barely got any injuries, certainly not to the key areas of the pitch. And I just think looks caught up with them a little bit in that regard. But yeah, make no mistake, whether Everton have proved this, whether they've got a full strength 100% 11 out or whether they've got the kids playing, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter one bit. And the fact that Burnley and Brighton and City and Atalanta, they've all gone and won at Anfield this season, it doesn't matter to me at all, because I just think we're different. Right? We are an entirely different proposition to any other football team. So, yeah, that can take that. Just, if anything, it adds a little bit of pressure. The fact that we maybe should go there is not favourites for sure, but we should go there with a big chance of winning, bigger than the last 3-4 seasons at least. Yeah.
I think, and you've mentioned it there, James, the teams matter very little in these games nowadays, because Liverpool can play any team, and the team will probably play with the same work rate all the time, no matter who plays. It's just the ability that they miss out when they play other players. So we've got to play our own game. I think where we need to really knuckle down, James, is playing our own game and sticking to our game, and rather being proactive than reactive, not looking at how Liverpool are going to start the game, looking at where we want to play and playing that way, because too much recently we should beat that Liverpool team with all the kids out or with all the second players playing. And, but Liverpool, to their credit, always seem to have the same work rate no matter who plays. So I think we need to go into this game. We need to try and keep possession for the first 10, 15 minutes. There's another thing to mention as well, James, which I'm going to ask you about, is Everton this season do not seem to be able to start games or start second halves. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I just remember that the first derby, we'd won 7 games in a row. We battered a couple of teams. We won at Tottenham. We won a tricky away game at Palace. I thought, Brighton are now starting to show how good I think they truly are, sort of, underlying numbers and what have you. And we swept them to the sides. We beat West Ham. If you look at them now, they're doing really well. And then I think we were down a goal within 3 minutes of the last derby. Like, it's a shocker, and it's just vintage Everton. And that's something that we really, really need to change, because if you start slowly against these, it can be 2-0 up inside 10 minutes and the game can be over. The one thing we need not to do is concede an early goal. You talk about second halves as well. The Leeds game was a huge one. We had a terrific first 45 minutes. We could have won by 3 or 4 that game, I felt, because I thought they would have pressed us in the second half, and we should still have scored the second half of that game as well. But within a minute, 2 minutes, we made a terrible mistake at the back, and we've let a really sloppy goal go in, and just like that, you're under pressure for absolutely no reason. So that's just what we really need not to do today. And as you say, we can just get the ball, keep it for 5-10 minutes, and try and look for an early goal. That's the Marco Silva derby, the one where obviously Pickford threw the ball in his own net in the last minute. I felt in that game we were quite proactive. Walcott had a great chance. Gomez should have scored. I don't know how he didn't, still to this day. And then we were this close to a really well-earned point in a game that we definitely could have won. So that's just what we need to do. We just need to go in, play our own game, you say, because we're good enough to beat these. Absolutely, 11-11, we're good enough to beat these at this moment in time. But it's just how much the lads who are going out today really want it.
That's it, James. That's exactly what I'm trying to say, is that too many times we go into these games and we're 1-0 down after 10 minutes. And, we always seem to get back into them. But how helpful would it be to go the first 20 minutes, or just at least go the first half without conceding a goal? And matching their work rate and matching their, the effort they put in, because especially at their home ground as well, they love to get on it straight from the first minute. Same way at Goodison as well. Mane scoring that early goal in the last derby. Best thing Everton can do for me is to start the game and try and keep it a possession and try and get the ball into their half and just try and scare them a bit, because we go in with our tails between our legs far too often. But I'm hoping the mentality with Ancelotti's changed a little bit, because it definitely has to change. The mentality at Anfield has not been good enough. Someone made James Brinkley there. Thanks for joining the stream again, James. He's a good supporter of the channel. He says he's a bit scared with Holgate playing centre back though. He's very rash at times. James, what have you made of Holgate recently? Because I can agree with that statement.
Yeah, he is rash. Yeah, I think he's better at centre back than he is at right back for me. I think at right back, I don't think he's a good enough one-on-one defender. Whereas at centre back, I think he's good with the ball at his feet. He's quick. And I think you're far less likely to get took on one-on-one if you're playing in the centre of defence rather than in one of the full-back positions. So I think the last few weeks he hasn't been good enough. He hasn't. And that's why I've been saying for a month or so in the summer, we've got to sign a right back, we've got to sign a goalie. Because I don't think Holgate's future lies at right back. And we've realistically known that for a few years now as well. So I think recently he's not been up to scratch, but I do think he is better at centre half than at right back myself.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there, James. It's he seems to get a little bit worked up. Another player that likes to get worked up is Richarlison, and he's not been in the greatest form. And he scored 2 really good goals against Tottenham. And then obviously the Fulham game is one that we all want to forget. But then, got a really lucky goal against City, but they all count. And Malcolm Murphy there says they will kick Richarlison to bits in the first 20 minutes. Will he snap? That's a worry. Yeah, good prediction. Will Richarlison be able to handle it? Because he's a big game player. He does like big atmospheres, doesn't he? And he likes important games, but he needs to start showing in them that he's worthy of playing in them all the time, and he's a big match player. What do you think, James? Because they probably will look to rough him up a little bit early on. Do you think he will snap, or do you think he'll take it in a stride?
It's toss of a coin. I really couldn't tell you. I'd be surprised if he snapped because it is such a big game. He knows how to get sent off early doors. Like it's different. He gets sent off in the 90th minute and we don't lose the game. But if he gets sent off early doors, then we're in huge trouble. But I just think, why don't we, kick one of their players up in the air, Salah or Mane. I think Mane's got a bit of a hot streak in terms of reacting. Andy Robertson is similar in terms of, I think you can get at him and get in his head a little bit. So I don't know why we don't do it. I feel like we discuss stuff like this quite often with Derby in terms of our players reacting and how they'll react to getting a bit of a kick and a bit of gamesmanship. I just think we're going to have to do it ourselves. It's a derby game. You need to target the players who maybe their mentality sort of leads them getting into trouble and snapping it, as you say. So I just think we've got to go in there with that attitude as well and just try and rough up a few feathers of theirs. So I'm not too worried, because I'd be surprised if in this day and age of VAR and what have you, you can't get away with pretty much anything. So I just hope he keeps his head screwed on, but I think he will.
Let's talk about the VAR as well, because Liverpool love a penalty at the Kop end, don't they? We actually got a penalty with Wayne Rooney under Allardyce a couple of years ago, but you're fighting against the referees in these games as well, aren't you, James? It's a sad fact of football nowadays is that you are fighting against the referee most of the time, especially in games like this, where Liverpool seem to be getting quite a few decisions for them. I know obviously we got lucky in the Goodison derby with the Mane offside, but you do fear that, don't you?
Yeah, I remember saying after that game, I grew up on derbies named after referees like Clattenburg, and I can't remember who sent off Rodwell. Was it Atkinson? I can't quite remember.
I think that might have been Atkinson, yeah. Or I don't know if it was that was Clattenburg again, maybe, or not sure.
No, I don't think, because Clattenburg didn't referee for that. I think it was Atkinson, but yeah, I can't remember who the referee was. The game when
Funes Mori as well got sent off. Yeah. That was another one.
that was bad. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it might have been Graham Poll maybe when the ball was kicked from their goalie and it hit one of our players and it went in last minute. I think it was the year or two before I was born, so I'm not entirely sure on the players involved. But like stuff like that, it's just if you have games named after referees, it's just such a bad omen. So I don't know who's refereeing today, but I just hope he puts in a good performance and doesn't bottle it in front of them lot. But yeah, again, it's out of our hands, isn't it? Like so much of it is, the fact there's not even any fans there just means it's completely over to them after the first whistle goes. So
Yeah, I mean, that is a benefit for us, I think. The fact there's no Liverpool supporters in the ground, that's going to help us. I don't see how it can't help us. You know, we always seem to crumble in the atmosphere. So the fact that there is a quiet, empty ground, that should help us, hopefully. And Dan Zed's in the chat says, best of luck, Everton fans. Thank you, Dan. We're definitely going to need it. Michael Lowe says, greetings from Toronto. Toronto Toffee's prediction, Davis to score the winner. Pickford to save Salah's penalty after his fake dive in the area. Yeah, that's a pretty good prediction. I'd love Tom Davis to get the winner. Couple ones, but as Toffee Blues John in the chat's just there below, big up the Toronto Toffees. Let's hope you've got your in fine voice today. I'm not sure what time it is over there, Michael. Let us know what time it is. And yeah, because if you've woke up early for this, then hopefully you're not going to bed at half time, you know, because it's you see a lot of people who get up really early for these games really put a lot of effort into supporting Everton from abroad. And let's hope that for the Toronto Toffees are a good luck omen today. James mentioned there as well about the referee derby where it hit our player and went in. We're both too young, I think, to remember the Kevin Campbell derby where we won last one at Anfield. I know I was born a couple of years after that, but I know guessing you don't remember it either. But how big is it for people of our?
Old, I think.
Yeah. So how big is it for people of our age to win this game? And I know, well, obviously we'll try and put it down to just a normal, a normal game, a normal away game that we seem to be quite confident in this season. But you can't ignore the fact this is a derby, at Anfield, can you?
No, I mean it's huge because it's just such a that and the trophy. They're the two biggest monkeys on our back. And they have been for my entire lifetime. Because as far as I'm concerned, we haven't won in my lifetime. As I say, I think I was 4 or 5 months old. I think it was the September of '99. So I was born in the April. So as far as I'm concerned, we've never won in our lifetime. But I just remember speaking to one of my old teachers when Oviedo scored at Old Trafford. And he was born in '93, I think, something like that. And we'd never won it. We'd never won at Old Trafford before that game, for example. And it's like that sort of similar feeling for him of going so long, just losing after losing, odd draw at a certain away ground. But when it's the derby, it's like it's such a different feeling because they're the club that have got a hold on you and the club you want to beat more than anyone. So, I always think when I know people who go to the derbies at Anfield, I always think I can't believe you're doing it to yourself every year because it's just I can't think of anything worse to do, to be honest with you, at this moment in time. So yeah, we need to end that streak because it's pathetic, really. I think you could say how it is for a club of our size to not win a game away at Anfield for so long is really, really poor. So we've just got to win it this time.
Canada, and it's a 12:30 kickoff over there. So, yeah, it'll ruin the rest of your day, Michael, if we get beat. So, here's hoping that Everton get the win for you. I really hope so. We really are due one, and we don't have much luck at Anfield or good results. But why can't today be the day? This is one of our best chances. I think the fact that the season is so up and down. Liverpool aren't in great form. We've lost a couple of games recently as well, but this is definitely an Everton team that are turning a corner, and there's players in there that can help us. Toffee Blues John, this is late score predictions. Yeah, we've got about 10 minutes till kickoff. I think me and Paul both predicted a 2-2 and a 1-1 on the podcast and the YouTube channel as well. James, I can see in your eyes that you're thinking about it. Have you got any inkling of what the score is going to be?
Honestly, it's entirely unpredictable. I think when I was speaking to my mate last night, I think we both said a 1-0 win. So I really don't think that. But I wouldn't like to say the score I think it's going to be. So I'll go for a hopeful 1-0. But I was saying to him as well, he suggested Michael Keane scoring a last-minute header, and I said to him, But if that goes in there, imagine like the agony of those 2 minutes out of time we'd have to endure at 1-0. Like it doesn't bear thinking about. So
oh mate,
yeah,
don't
I'll
even,
go for a 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be horrible, but yeah, I think
I
what
can't
we need
imagine. I cannot imagine if we are winning this game and the referee puts. Sorry, mate. Yeah, go ahead.
And I was just going to say what we need is, because I remember in the 2-2 after they scored, I'm thinking, well, and then it was disallowed. We then got a free kick right down by the corner flag in the last minute. And I remember the Jagielka one, we got a free kick pretty much by the corner flag again in the last minute. And it's like that feeling of knowing this is going to be the last kick of the game. We need to have it so we have the last kick of the game. We can just get the ball as far away from our goal as possible. But if by some miracle that's the case, those final minutes will age me horribly.
Yeah, I can just you've just reminded me there, mate. If we're winning this game 1-0 and the ref puts 5 minutes up on the board, I don't know what I'm going to do, to be honest. How do you fill that time? It's been like that recently, even not in the derbies when we've been winning and the referees put the board up for the added time. This season, them last few minutes, because we're in a bit better form, it's just. Yeah, they've been agonising. Seamus Maloney says, did anyone expect King to possibly start up front? I know he's on the bench, Seamus, but maybe it would have been a good option for him to start. But I think with him saying Calvert-Lewin was fit, I wasn't expecting him to play. But Calvert-Lewin's not playing either, so I think it's probably a tactical thing. If we need legs at the end of the game and we're looking for a goal, I think King might be one of the best options, mightn't he, James?
Yeah, I mean, in that regard, you kind of hope we don't need to use him, but yeah, I'd predict that King probably just didn't fit because it seems strange for him not to have played in the last game and as well against Fulham when Calvert-Lewin's not been fit. So all I could suggest is it probably isn't match sharp because he hasn't played as much football as the rest of the lads have in this very strange season when you're playing every 3 days or whatever. He hasn't done that really. So that'd be my only thought on that, I think.
Yeah. Oscillate Wadley, one of the best names I've seen in the live stream, says, if Brighton and Burnley won there, why can't we? Yeah, why can't we go there and win? It's the same team. It's not like they're playing any different players, but we need to go there. We need to treat this like another away game. We need to try and smash and grab and get 3 points, and let's hope we do. Road Park says 3-2. I'm not sure if that's to Everton or Liverpool, but yeah, I think this game will have goals in it. El Murph says, come on, Everton. Really been enjoying streams. This is the pre-match streams that long, but James has been on a couple. Paul's been on them as well, and they've been doing really well on the channel. So thank you all for supporting them. He also says, Road Park there, come on, you Blues. Hope so. And yeah, guys, make sure that you're leaving likes on the stream before we finish. And we've just hit 40 likes on the stream. So kickoff is in a few minutes, and I'll let you go in a few minutes there, James, to put yourself through the next 90 minutes, and let's hope that it's an Everton win. How are you going to be watching it? Because obviously James isn't joining us on a post match, so and we were talking about sort of coping mechanisms to cope with the nerves during games. Like going for a walk or doing some washing up as well. Seems to be a popular one. But how are you watching it today?
Probably like this. Looking through it like that, or take my glasses off. One of the two. They'll be my choices. I'll stick it on, but yeah. I don't know. A walk sounds pretty good right now. Get those steps in. I'm looking outside. The weather looks nice for a nice brisk walk for the next 110 minutes or whatever. I'd have to look through to get past half time and that. So, yeah, we'll see how I get on.
Yeah, it's the only time in the whole year where I plan on going for a jog, which says a lot. Because this game, the nerves get to me. They really, really do get to me. There's been a lot of people, going up with what do you do during it. Obviously a walk is the most popular one. Some people say they do washing. Some people say they go for a shower. They're all like the normal ones because you try and ignore them. I know my dad's going around the house looking for stuff to tidy up as we're talking, and the nerves have got to him, and the game hasn't even kicked off yet. Road Park says I'm watching it with a lot of alcohol. Yeah, not for me. I'm on the post stream afterwards, so got to try and be professional. Hopefully, Everton do get the win, guys. We're just about to kick off in a moment, so we'll let you go. But yeah, James, thank you for joining me. Let's hope it's an Everton win, mate.
You're very welcome, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, let's hope we'll be having lots of alcohol afterwards for all the right reasons.
Yeah, 100%. Let's hope so. Let's hope it's a party atmosphere in the post-match, guys. If you did enjoy it, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the Toffee Blues. Yeah, let's hope Everton get the win, and we'll see you in the next one.